We are going to take a guided tour through the morphology of flowering plants, tracing their major parts from root up through stem and leaf into the flower, fruit, and seed. Think of this as a roadmap that links form to function. Each organ has adaptations that help the plant grow, capture light, reproduce, and survive in different environments. At the most basic level, plants are organized into two systems: the shoot system and the root system. The shoot system includes the stem, nodes, leaves, and buds. Nodes are the points where leaves and buds arise, and the bud is the embryonic shoot that can give rise to branches or flowers. The root system anchors the plant and absorbs water and minerals. Some plants also show primary growth, which lengthens organs, and secondary growth, which increases thickness in woody species. Focusing now on the root tip, there are distinct functional zones. The root cap protects the delicate tip as it pushes through soil. Just behind it is the meristematic region where cells divide actively. Those new cells then enter the elongation region and grow longer. And finally, the maturation region is where cells differentiate. This is where root hairs form to increase surface area for absorption. Roots are also commonly modified to perform special jobs. Many become storage organs, adopting shapes such as conical, fusiform, or napiform to store carbohydrates. Common examples are carrot, radish, and beetroot. Other roots modify for gas exchange in waterlogged soils. Pneumatophores in species like Avicennia help with respiration. These modifications illustrate how root structure reflects ecological need. Stems too show a range of modifications and can occur underground, subaerial, or aerial. Underground stems like rhizomes, ginger, and tubers, potato, store food and help vegetative propagation. Subaerial stems produce runners or offsets that spread the plant. Aerial modifications include phylloclades and tendrils for climbing. Each modification supports a particular life strategy, whether storage, spread, or support. A typical leaf has a blade or lamina, which is the main photosynthetic surface, an apex at the tip, and a central midrib that contains the main vascular bundle. The petiole attaches the blade to the stem and provides flexibility, while stipules at the base can protect young leaves or have other roles. The overall leaf architecture balances light capture, gas exchange, and water conservation. The arrangement of leaves on a stem, phyllotaxy, can be alternate, opposite, or whorled. In an alternate arrangement, each node bears a single leaf. In opposite, there are two leaves per node on opposite sides. And in whorled, several leaves arise from the same node. Phyllotaxy influences how leaves shade one another and thus affects light interception and photosynthetic efficiency. Flowers are often grouped on an axis in predictable patterns called inflorescences. Two broad types are racemose and cymose. In racemose inflorescences, the youngest flowers are at the tip and the axis continues to grow. While in cymose types, the terminal flower blooms first, so further growth is from lateral buds, producing older flowers toward the center. Observing the sequence of flowering helps distinguish these types. Looking at a single flower, you can separate male and female structures and several supportive parts. The gynoecium is the female reproductive unit made of ovary, style, and stigma. The stigma receives pollen, the style elevates it, and the ovary contains ovules. The andrecium is the male part, consisting of stamens, each with an anther that produces pollen mounted on a filament. Surrounding these are petals, the corolla, that attract pollinators, sepals, the calyx, that protect the bud, and the thalamus or receptacle that supports the floral organs. The whole flower sits on a pedicel. The position of the ovary relative to other floral parts defines three common conditions. In hypogynous flowers, the ovary is superior and sepals, petals, and stamens arise below it. In perigynous flowers, the floral parts arise from the rim of a cup shaped structure around the ovary, giving a half inferior appearance. In epigynous flowers, the ovary is inferior and the other parts appear to arise above it, often from the thalamus that has grown up and around the ovary. Estivation describes how petals or sepals are arranged in a flower bud before it opens, and it comes in several patterns. Valvate estivation means the edges of the segments meet without overlapping. Twisted estivation has each segment overlapping the next in one direction. Imbricate means some segments overlap others in a more irregular shingle pattern. Vexillary estivation is a specialized banner wing keel arrangement typical of pea family flowers. Placentation is about where ovules attach inside the ovary. In marginal placentation, ovules line a single ridge along the chamber, typical of many legumes. Axial placentation features ovules attached to a central axis in a multilocular ovary. Parietal placentation has ovules on the inner wall of a unilocular ovary. Free central placentation places ovules on a central column with no septa, while basal placentation bears a single ovule at the base of the ovary. These patterns affect fruit and seed arrangement. A drupe is a simple fruit with three layers forming distinct tissues. The epicarp is the outer skin, the mesocarp is the fleshy or sometimes fibrous middle layer, and the endocarp is the hard, stony layer that surrounds the seed. Inside that stone, you find the seed, often with a nutritive endosperm or kernel. Classic examples include peach, mango, and coconut, where the relative thickness and texture of each layer vary. A typical dicot seed contains two cotyledons that often store food, a seed coat that protects the embryo, and an embryonal axis with the plumule, future shoot, and the radicle, future root. Structures like the hilum mark the seed's point of attachment to the fruit, and the micropyle is a small pore that allows water entry during germination. These paths coordinate to initiate growth when conditions are right. In monocot seeds such as maize, the endosperm remains the main food reserve, surrounded by an aleurone layer that is rich in proteins. The single cotyledon, called the scutellum, absorbs nutrients from the endosperm to nourish the developing embryo. Protective sheaths include the coleoptile, which guards the plumule as it grows upward, and the coleorhiza, which protects the radicle as it emerges. This organization supports the distinct germination strategy of monocots. That's it for today. Learn smarter with EduRev. Notes, test, and practice in one app. Download EduRev now on Play Store and iOS App Store and keep learning every day.